Hello! Welcome to another Facerocker Podcast, episode 44. I'm your co-host, Des Dolly. Matt and Freddie are out this week, still filming Video Game High School Season 3. They are in the thick of it. A couple of weeks down, a couple of weeks left to go. We will soon be blowing shit up, shooting all the action stuff. So check out the website for blog updates and photos, sneak peeks, and whatnot. You can catch all that stuff on Twitter, too. But in the meantime, me and the gang are still working on shorts. We got a whole slate of epic rad shorts that we've been working on that are going to be coming out every Tuesday here on RocketJump.com and YouTube/RocketJump. And we will also be bringing you podcasts every week. This week, since Matt and Freddie are out, I brought in my podcast producer, brother, and best friend, Benji Dolly, to co-host, along with good pal John Karmen, who you would remember from Ruby Dog Movies. We've had him on before. He's been in the show. Not a total stranger to you. But they stopped by to take up co-hosting duties, and our guest is Clinton Jones, or you may know him as Pwnisher on YouTube. Commercial director, fan filmmaker, all-around rad dude. Parkour expert, maybe I should say. I don't know. He does a lot of really, he's a multifaceted, talented kind of dude. But he comes by to talk about his origin story, which is actually pretty interesting. His path and Freddie's crossed just a few years ago. So you may want to stick around and check that out. One quick plug, don't forget to subscribe to the Facerocker Podcast on iTunes. They have a really rad free app. You can download the podcast app, iPhone, Android, so on and so forth. You're going to get updates, downloads. You can comment on the podcast. Give us a sweet rating if you're a big fan, you know? Put like 5 stars on there or what have you. Or not. It's up to you. But anyway, let's get to the podcast. This is episode 44 with the Pwnisher himself, Clinton Jones. Alex, let's roll it. Hey everybody, welcome to another Facerocker Podcast. How's it going? I'm co-host Des Dolly. Matt and Freddie are out this week filming Video Game High School Season 3, so I am here. I am joined by my new constituents.
We took over.
Podcast producer, and brother Benji Dolly is co-hosting today. Our good friend John Karmen, Ruby Dog Productions.
How's it going?
In the house. And Clinton Jones.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, dude?
The Pwnisher.
The Pwnisher.
YouTube.com/The Pwnisher.
Yes, that is my name.
How's it going?
Very good, man.
What's up with you guys?
Man,
this is a little awkward because we all work together.
Yeah.
So we just walked from like 30 feet away. We were just celebrating a birthday party. Alex Reeves, who records the podcast, you don't see him. He's on the other side of the camera.
Big birthday.
Hey, big birthday, Alex.
Happy birthday, Alex.
We were just celebrating a birthday party, and we're like, let's go record a podcast. So here we are in the room 4 minutes later, trying to act as if like we're just meeting for the first time today.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we figured we'd bring you in, Clint, because you've said, time and time again, you want to come hang out in the podcast.
Guys,
and blah, blah, blah.
I know, right? You're like, guys, why haven't I been on your show? Your show sucks until I'm on it.
It took like 44 episodes to get me on.
Pretty much.
Not like 44, exactly 44 episodes.
Yeah.
And I feel kind of bad we took that long because you actually, Clint, your story, how you got out here, what you're doing out here is actually kind of perfect for the mindset that we like out here and what we want to see. I don't know if many people know exactly how you got to where you are right now, but it's one of my favorite things. I love the spirit of Clinton Jones.
The Pwnisher origin story.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan, and I love people that just go for it. So if you could just, I don't know, just kind of spill the beans a little bit.
All right. For those who don't know who the Pwnisher is, sum yourself up in 3 words.
Whoa, man.
And please always refer to
that's
yourself
2. Well, man is 2.
as the Pwnisher
In third person. Yeah.
Please.
The Pwnisher is, and then A, B, and C. Ready, set, go.
The Pwnisher is
baller. We can't have that much debt.
Don't help him.
Dude, this is tough, man. The Pwnisher is crazy. Shoot, man, I don't even know, dude.
He's crazy.
He's crazy.
I'm crazy.
He's confused.
I'm confused. And no, lost would be confused. And
crazy, lost.
And I guess ambitious.
And ambitious.
Ambitious is a
It doesn't
good one.
describe what you do professionally whatsoever.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Just that you're a crazy, aimless, ambitious motherfucker.
Yes.
Here in Los Angeles.
There we go. 3 words for you guys.
Dude, that's pretty spot on. That sounds about right.
All right.
So those of you who don't know, Clint's a filmmaker.
Yes, I'm a filmmaker. I enjoy making films. Short films so far. I've been doing like shorts for video games and stuff. I really just, I'm a gamer. And I thought, hey, you know, there are not a lot of good video game short films or movies out there. So I was like,
when is this?
When was this? When this?
Man, this is what, like 3 years ago? 3.5 years ago?
Yeah.
This was, I'm in my driveway in Canton, Georgia, sitting in my '89 Camry.
Solid car.
Yeah.
Solid
I love the
car, by way.
details so far.
Yeah.
This story's off to a great start.
Yeah.
Painting a great vivid picture.
I'm like, man, I want to do a Killzone short film,
Yeah.
but there's no way I could do it because it would just be so expensive.
Were you making movies before this? Like video game?
All right, let's go back. You want to
Epiphany?
go back? Let's go
Yeah,
back.
Yeah,
dude.
like when did you start making flicks, man? When did you get the bug? When
Okay.
did it hit you?
So I never knew how they cut in movies. Like you go from one image to another image. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, Bobby, my friend Bobby had a video camera. And I was like, how do they cut in movies? I don't get it. And he's like, dude, check this out. And he rolled over here and he cut. And then he rolled over here and cut. And then he did the, you know, playback and
Well, in-camera edit.
in-camera edit, and it rolled through and it cut to the second shot he just shot. I was like, what? Dude, my mind was blown. Seriously, I was like, this is so cool. So I was like, we have to film something. So we shot this like quick little test where we shot like a quick little fight scene. And it was someone doing like a sweep, kind of like a sweep kick to knock someone off their balance, and we just cut down to the kick as the guy jumped over the kick.
Right.
I was like, this is so cool. And he's like, oh, also, you have Windows Movie Maker on your PC. And I was
Yep.
like, what? And it comes with my computer? So from there on, it was just, I got the bug.
I remember Windows Movie Maker. I remember also not understanding any of that because I remember me and Patrick, my buddy Patrick, would always try and make videos for Des. We would like, because Des was always he was in film school and coming back and forth from Chicago and stuff, and we would always just make, because this was around Jackass time. So we got hooked. A lot of people our age got hooked on watching Jackass. And like we just started trying to do the same thing for Des, but we had no idea how to edit or use Windows Movie. So we would try to edit everything in camera. We would try to shoot everything one tiny little moment at a time. So that we did it all, and it was awful. It was all awful. I don't know if we have any of that left. Hopefully not.
That's good stuff, though,
It's
man.
out there somewhere.
It's somewhere.
That's
Where
how
did
you
the
learn.
name Pwnisher come from?
That's a great question. So we had a wrestling company.
Wait, what?
Tell me more.
Hold on.
Tell me more.
No, hold on. Define wrestling company.
Tell me more.
Where is this again?
This is in Chino Hills, California.
Chino Hills, California.
Okay, so this is before Georgia.
Correct. So I was born in Florida, in Jacksonville. I think it was either Naples or Jacksonville. I should know this. Is pretty sad that I don't. I lived there for 6 years. Then I moved to Chino Hills, California, and lived there for 10 years. That's where I was raised.
Gotcha.
And then I moved from Chino Hills, California, to Canton, Georgia. I lived there for 5 years, and then I moved back to Los Angeles.
Gotcha.
And I've been back for like 2.5 years. So I'm in Chino Hills, California, and I'm in probably high school, freshman year of high school, and and my friend Keith Pack and Scott Humphrey.
I remember Keith.
Yep.
Yeah, still friends to this day. And every Friday we would just get together and wrestle after school the whole freaking day. We would just wrestle upstairs in his house. At his
Like,
parent-
were you doing like the Monday Night Raw wrestling? Like, did you have your own like show? Or were
Professional
you guys, or were you
wrestling or,
guys
like-
really physically testing each other's?
we were physically testing each other's capabilities.
I dig that even
Greco-Roman
more.
style collegiate
Yeah,
wrestling.
like it was until we tapped out. Like it was rough. It got rough.
This is great.
That's how I got a scar on my eye right here.
John, I get the impression this is something you've never done and never intended
Yeah, did you
to.
and your friends ever just go upstairs and wrestle, John?
Well, we wouldn't like make an active decision to. Usually fights would escalate. Like we'd be making fun of someone's girlfriend,
Yeah.
and then he would just chase us around the house, and and he was actually a wrestler himself, so he would just like put us in positions. We'd have to like become amateur wrestlers all of a sudden.
No, but
This guy
see,
got mad at
here's
us.
where you failed. Because what you guys were doing was completely and entirely amateur. Clint, on the other hand, says, you know what? We're running around the house wrestling. We can turn this into a business. Let's form ourselves a wrestling company. So you guys are upstairs. You're Pwnisher's Wrestling Co. Industries.
No, it was called I believe it was called Pwned Up Noobs Wrestling Co.
Wait. Say that again.
One more slowly, please.
It was Pwned Up Noobs Wrestling Company is what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was the Pwnisher.
Right.
My friend Scott was
PUNWC.
Grandmaster Pwn, and my buddy Keith was the Pwnerer.
Oh, dude. Yes. Okay. No, this is great.
Yeah.
So what did you guys do as a wrestling company?
Well, we had different. I mean, we wrestled. I mean, we just freaking wrestled.
That was it.
And we just wrestled until we tapped out.
Did you promote your wrestling company?
Well, on MySpace
Great.
at the time.
Did you ever have people come and watch your events? Did you ever have?
No.
You never took it that
We
far.
filmed them.
Did the PUNWC ever put on a show and have a live audience? Is what I want to know.
No, I don't think there was never a live stream. We didn't know about live streams back then.
That's too bad.
But we did film them. I wonder if Keith still has those videos, man.
You should ask. That would be great. And
yeah,
you should bring the band back together.
that would be hilarious, dude.
One final fight.
I mean, I remember we did similar things. I mean, because we were a wrestling family, so obviously
Yeah.
we didn't want to do wrestling. But I remember once being younger, you had a boxing night in our basement, didn't you?
I don't remember.
I remember because Mom and Dad
Boxing
were
night?
terrified because Crazy Dan Hoppers was downstairs
Oh,
fighting,
yeah.
and they were like, "Who's?" Because that guy was terrifying. He was this dangerous man. His nickname was Crazy Dan Hoppers.
Good guy.
And my parents, yeah, awesome guy, fantastic gentleman. And I remember being upstairs with Mom and Dad, and they're like, Dad was like, "Leave him alone, Eva. They'll be fine." She's like, "Hoppers is down there. Someone's gonna get hurt."
Teen angst.
This man has
We
a
did one of those.
reputation.
We had a boxing night one night. I remember we told our parents that we would have helmets, and so they would be okay with it at my buddy Patrick's house. Again, everything happened in his basement. We filmed it. We had people come over to watch the fights. We put posters up at school.
Oh,
They had the card
that's sweet.
for the
That's
boxing
awesome.
night. They had the card who was going to fight.
Yeah.
And we had
Wait,
like,
didn't you fight in the street?
no, we did it in the basement.
I
and
thought I remember one of those fight. Anyway,
we
I
did
thought
that.
it ended up out in the streets that night.
There were sometimes it ended out in the
That
streets.
happened. It may not have been.
There
that
are
night.
times where things happened in the streets, but that time it wasn't. We told our parents, they're like, "Oh, that's awesome! You guys are at least you're smart. You're gonna have helmets." Like the very first fight of the night, the helmets were just too big and kept
No
getting
helmets.
in people's faces,
Dude,
so they
no
made things
helmets.
more dangerous. So we ended up taking them off, and then when our parents show up to check on how everything was going, we don't have any helmets on. Somebody just got destroyed. I remember somebody got knocked out cold, hard.
Ooh.
I think it was Alex Barkley. Was it Barkley? I don't
I
know.
don't know. Did
Kirk
you guys ever
Kaufman's
get
a
hurt?
Dangerous man.
This wrestling company, is that what shut you guys down? Some sort of
Yeah.
big injury?
Dude, I was in a
lawsuit?
headlock. I was in a straight headlock. And I was trying to get out, and Scott let go, and I flew across the room, and like I friggin' hit the corner of a door frame on my eye, above my above my left eye, and I bounced off the door, and I was like on the carpet. I was like, and like it hurt so bad. And when I picked my head up, like my hand was just covered in blood, and I was like, oh. I freaked out. And I went to the mirror, and I was like Two-Face. Dude, it was great.
So how did
Good times.
How
man.
does your, no disrespect, fake wrestling company become you and your production company out here in Los Angeles?
So I guess I just kept the name Pwnisher because I really liked Pwnisher.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that Pwnisher. I mean, Pwnisher's the name of my YouTube channel. It's not really a business or a company of any sort.
It's sort of like your filmmaker moniker.
Yeah.
Like
That's a good
remember
one.
like you remember like the 2000s, all those hip hop directors all had sweet nicknames.
Yeah.
Like Lil X, Hype Williams, Dr. Teeth.
Dr. Teeth
Dr.
was
Teeth.
awesome.
Dude, Dr.
Dude.
Teeth
I remember
made some
Dr.
sick
Teeth. Look
videos.
up some Dr. Teeth videos.
Yeah.
Dude's a baller.
That's you.
Yeah.
It's like you got your
Yeah. I guess it'd be like Pwnisher.
Yeah.
Would be my.
so you came out here. So okay, no, but here's the funny part, right? Didn't you run into Freddie?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm in Georgia at this point, right? I figured out my friend Bobby showed me how to work this video camera the last year I was in California. So I was about 15 years old. I hit 16. I move out to Georgia freshman year of high school. And actually, when we were wrestling, that was probably junior high. I probably made a mistake. Yeah. So I moved out freshman year of high school to Georgia, and I didn't have any friends or anything, so all I did was just do videocopilot.net tutorials for like 2 years straight.
Andrew Kramer.
Yeah, all my free time was just VFX, and that's how I started out as VFX.
Yeah.
VFX like freelance
Yeah.
artist. So that's how that happened. And I was just testing out all these random effects in my backyard. And you know that obviously I put that stuff on my channel, and then it turned into like bigger videos, like they were always test videos though, you know, just for these visual effects. And then, you know, I got some friends who were like, let's shoot some stuff. And my friend Tyler Moran in high school, he called me up. He was like, hey, Clint, do you want to build a tank? Just like, I was like, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly
who says no to that?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, dude. Well, Tyler's crazy. He is insane. Like he got thrown in jail for free running on top of a high school. Tyler's insane. He has like the most insane stories. So he's like, you want to build a tank? I'm like, yes, let's build a tank. We decided to build it out of cardboard because that was the cheapest and lightest material we could find. Because we knew that we wanted to mount it on top of a car and drive it around the town, you know?
Yeah.
So it took us a year off and on to build this tank. So Tyler made it his senior project just so we knew, okay, this thing's going to be completed.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it for the high school project. That's your senior year project.
Wait, so to graduate high school, you guys are going to build a tank?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was Tyler's project. That was Tyler's project.
That was crazy Tyler's project.
I'm going to build a tank. Yeah.
The teacher said that was okay.
I guess.
Tank it up.
Dude, he got an A+, man. We drove it up to the school, man. It was the greatest. It was like the greatest couple hours of my life.
See, you know, well, I guess to be fair,
awesome.
I was in an art class. I don't remember what it was called, but I made my own curriculum senior year. I could do whatever I wanted.
Oh, sick.
So I designed my whole curriculum for the year. And my last project, well, like the last semester, I molded my face and I sculpted this gash,
dude,
and like ripped
cool.
out my eyeball and did this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then for the final project, my teacher said, well, no, you have to apply it. And then spend the rest of the day with your face all mutilated like that. So I did some weird shit in high school.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was my senior project, self-mutilating my face.
Did you get like reactions from people?
Everyone was just like, oh, weird eye.
Like, it's not Halloween.
Everyone's
Des.
just like, this kid's weird.
Yeah, there goes Des.
This weirdy.
That's that weird makeup kid. So you guys built a tank.
Yeah, we built the tank. It worked. And then I was always fans of Freddie. And I guess he was a fan of my channel as well. So we sent messages back and forth to each other on YouTube when he actually checked his YouTube messages way back when.
Right.
Very similar to
way back
our
when.
man JK right here. Very similar.
Yeah.
Fans and friends.
Fans and friends forever.
Old time fans, old time friends.
FFFs and a little heart.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
What was
then-
Freddie, like, what were you saying to Freddie back then in the YouTube?
Dude, I was so
Through
nervous.
the YouTube message system. Like, what was your first message? Like, oh, dear God, Freddie, oh my God.
Yeah, it was probably one of those. It's like, dude, I'm such a huge fan. Oh my gosh, like your videos are awesome. And then it was probably something like, we should do a collaboration video or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, dude, your videos are sick too. And like, we just kept in touch. And he saw that we built the tank, and he's like, you should make a video out of that. Like, why don't you just make a video? I was like, yeah, why don't we make a video? What am I thinking? So then that's when the cardboard warfare thing came along, and I was like, okay, we'll build some guns, and then we'll do this cardboard video. And that was the first cardboard warfare video that came out like 5 or 6 years ago or something like that.
That's rad.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That makes me really proud to be a part. I mean, I was already proud to be a part of, World of Warplanes, but that makes it really sweet to know
man.
that, and I got to do that.
It's a
with you.
franchise.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And then you guys met up when Matt and Freddie and Brandon were out on the road trip, right?
Yeah, they stopped by Atlanta,
Yeah.
and we shot that video with Brett Driver up on the roof of this like airsoft place.
Which video?
It was I forget the name of the video. It's the one where Freddie has the revolver.
Beach Justice?
Yeah, Beach Justice.
Beach Justice.
Yeah, we shot Beach Justice.
That's right.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Brett Skate. Shout out to Brett.
So does these
Man,
guys-
Brett Skate, my
Oh,
man.
man.
Brett Driver, man. Where
Love
you
that
at?
guy.
Did these guys convince
We
you to
miss
move
you.
out then, or what was the deal?
Yeah, so Freddie was like, I was in college at the time. I was a year into my like digital media arts degree, technical school at Chattahoochee Tech, and it was just, man, it was bad. It kind of sucked.
What was bad?
I wasn't learning anything.
Right.
I honestly knew everything that they were teaching. Like, not to say that I know everything, but like, I did so many tutorials and did so much online training.
Yeah, I'm sure the teachers were asking you, like, how did you do that? That looks rad.
Yeah.
One of the main problems, though, that I came across when I was in school, one of the few times I was actually caring or paying attention, If you're not going to one of the major film schools like a USC, you know, or like an NYU or something like that, if you're in one of them, at least in my experience, the stuff you learn freshman year, they don't keep up as quickly as they need to with the technology. So the stuff they taught us freshman year and the equipment they taught us freshman, sophomore year, by the time we're seniors and we're graduating, that stuff is no longer being used.
That's such a good point.
The equipment's no longer being used. The software we were taught to use is no longer being used. And, you know, like you went through this education process and then you still are at square one by the time you're done. And like by the time I got done with it, I was like, man, I don't know, I guess I learned how to get stuff done, but like on the technical side, I didn't learn too much because it was all kind of old.
Well, I think that's
technology.
The biggest difference and also the biggest problem with those schools, because I went to one before I went to USC. I went through this very similar thing you did. Teachers were asking, like I was teaching the visual effects class once a week because I was doing stuff and the teacher couldn't figure out. And I was showing the class like what I was doing. But those schools focus on the technological side of filmmaking. And as you say, they can't keep up
such a good
with
point.
everything that's happening.
That makes sense.
But when I got
Moves
to
too
USC,
fast.
they said, like, look, it doesn't matter, right? We got old cameras, we got old computers. Like, what's really important is storytelling. You know, and that's what you get out of a school like that. It's, they teach you how the art of film itself and the craft of storytelling, as opposed to how to use Photoshop and After Effects and all that shit. That's just going to change. And
it's just going to change anyways. You're going to have to
Yeah,
relearn.
man.
Yeah, definitely.
That stuff you just teach yourself. Like if you really want to learn, then just videocopilot.net or cgtuts.com or whatever, you know? It's like there are websites for that, you know, to learn if you really want to learn.
So now you're here in LA.
Yeah, so Freddie was like, dude, you should move out. And I was like, yeah, I really want to move out and come back cuz I feel like it was easier for me because I used to live in California before. I spent 10 years in Chino Hills. So I was like, okay, you know, I miss my friends and I've always kind of wanted to go back. I love Georgia. Georgia's the best. But I knew that I wanted to come back. And Freddie was like, just drop out. And I was like, yeah, I want to because this sucks. I'm not happy here. And I told my dad and he was like, no, you need your degree. You can't drop out. And I was like, man. So then I went back to my,
oh, that's the whole conversation. Man.
So I went back to my teacher, Mr. Mason. He was the best teacher I had in class. He was my After Effects teacher. I think he taught the art class too, like drawing and stuff. He was really cool. And I asked him, I was like, man, what should I do? And he was like, if you have an opportunity to move out to LA, then go. Then take it. You're going to go. You can always come back here if it doesn't work out. And I was like, that makes so much sense.
Home's still going to be there.
Yeah, he's like, you're wasting your time here. You need to move out to LA. Like, you're dumb if you don't move out to LA and you have an opportunity. Go. I was like, yes, it makes sense. And I told my dad, I walked outside of the campus and called my dad and told him that. And he was like, all right, yeah, sure. So then I just dropped out and
how long did that take? From the time the teacher told you that and you immediately walked outside and called your dad?
It was like 2 weeks.
2 weeks you're in LA.
Yeah,
That's
like 2 weeks.
amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And did you have a place set up? Did you get an apartment ready, or did you just go and decide to figure it out?
I'm
going
to head to LA and I'll figure it out.
Freddie said that he'd let me stay. He'd have a spot for me.
Yeah.
It was
That's
a tiny little room. It was Freddie's old room. It was like it was a tiny room on suite number 6.
Was that in 6? Was that the one under the kitchen in 6?
Yep.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is our old office where we used to work in down in East LA.
Yep. It was all it was a concrete floor. The room was probably as big as this one right here, like 10 by like 12 or something like that. Brick walls on one side. And then
it's like
drywall on the other.
It's very depressing.
It's a very depressing building.
No windows, concrete floor. I had to put in carpet. I put in carpet.
Smart move.
You ended up pimping out that room.
Yeah, I did.
Very smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was there for a year, and now I'm in Pasadena. So I moved to Pasadena.
Well, now we're Pasadena neighbors.
Yeah, we're Pasadena.
Yeah, you guys are in Pasadena.
That's amazing how the Hunter Street office was a landing pad for so many people. I know
brought
when
a lot
I
of people
first
down
showed
there.
up, it was at Hunter Street. You were at Hunter Street when you first got there. Karmen, when you first met up with the team, they brought you into 6, and you were working out of 6.
You were working out of
right?
6.
First day I met Freddie, he brought me to Hunter Street.
I mean, Freddie and Matt and I were...
Yeah, you lived there, right?
We knew each other from school, but we weren't exactly good buddies at USC. We just all knew each other. We took a lot of classes, but it was Hunter Street. All living and working together at Hunter Street. We were like, what are we... There's like 30 people here. Let's all band together and make something.
That's
Hunter Street was awesome.
Yeah.
That is. That's I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of the building in the area.
You complain every day.
no.
Benji's like, I'm moving.
Yeah.
I did. I tried to give up so many times. He wouldn't let me. Thank you, by the way. It was
Benji threatened to go home to Indiana every single day.
Oh man, I'm from I'm from Indiana. I went to college in Iowa. I'm used to wide open spaces, man.
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing grass. I like seeing the sky. Hunter Street is under 6 freeways.
Yeah.
There's carts rolling past your window all night.
Yep.
Like, it was just, I'm used, you remember visiting me in school. I'm used to a place where we left everything open and unlocked every day.
Yeah.
You never
No
locked a
locked
car.
doors.
You left your house doors wide open. You never had to worry about anything. So when I moved into Hunter Street, it was a culture shock for me, man.
Yeah, dude.
That was different. But luckily, like you said, like, every day, like you and Brett were there. I got to hang out with you guys all the time. I met the team, Freddie and Matt.
When you think about all the work that came out of that building,
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
and it's still coming out because Corridor's still there.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts, right?
It's insane, man.
Just the caliber and quality of shit
Yeah.
that is coming out of this invisible brick warehouse in East LA.
I was telling him, I was like, dude, you guys, I was talking to Nico, I was like, you guys got to buy the building. If you guys buy that building, like, you can sell it for so much money later because like it's only getting better. That area, like the little Tokyo area,
Because
it's getting nicer.
They're trying to refurb it, aren't they?
Yeah,
the
and
city
it's,
is. At the
it's
moment.
getting
Yeah.
it's slowly going east, and it's going to be nice, and the price is going to go up in like 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
I think it's a good investment.
Hey guys, how's it going? Jimmy Wong, aka Ted from VGHS here, telling you to check out shop.rocketjump.com. We've got brand new merchandise like iPhone cases and iPad decals to shirts, Blu-rays, and posters, including brand new Season 2 designs from our friends at Danger Brain. There's also the incredibly popular VGHS hoodie, and some of our older shirts are on sale for a great price. So make sure you check it out right after this podcast at shop.rocketjump.com. Thanks so much, guys.
So, Clint, now you're in Pasadena, and now you work here at RocketJump.
Yeah.
What are you working on? Tell us. I know you got some big projects in the hopper.
Yeah.
I know you and John were doing a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, we had. Oh.
Talk to me, John. You've been real quiet over there.
Yeah. What's up? What's up, John? You wanna?
This is the Pwnisher store. This ain't the Karmen store.
No. Let's talk about Watch Dogs.
No, this is where your paths intersect.
Oh, yeah.
This is where we just got to Hunter Street. We're now all here together.
I remember Clint walked in a room and he was like, "What are like the coolest car chases ever?"
He just walked in and asked that.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, I love car chases. Let's just talk about it." We wrote up this huge list on the whiteboard.
It's still there.
I think it's still there. Yeah. And I was like, "So what is this for?" And he's like, "Oh, well, like I'm thinking about doing this Watch Dogs thing. I guess you were talking with people from Ubisoft and trying to make it happen." And
Yeah.
And then I guess it got like a green light.
You guys had a green light.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we just kept talking about it, and Clint had like a German of an idea, and then we started, he told me it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really cool concept," and we started just kind of bouncing back and forth, elaborating on that original concept until we had something that was like, "Oh, this actually feels like a pretty strong little story within an action short."
Yeah, it was like 6-7 minutes long.
Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah,
Pretty epic for a YouTube video.
It was cool.
It's very
yeah.
ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, I think
John, I remember you would come to me too because you were doing this like in your free time, and we were working on. God, I don't remember what we were like doing for work at that time.
Yeah.
But you would always, every time we were on a break, John would ask me, he'd be like, I got a question. Like, how expensive would it be to like blow up a couple of cars? Like, what are you talking about? What are you doing?
yeah, I think they gave us the green light for what was it, like 50, 60 grand?
It was 75.
70. Oh, yeah,
75 minus all the fees and so on and so forth. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
to make like $1 million action scene.
Yeah, you guys
yeah.
pitched like a $2 million action sequence.
Yeah. But it was gonna be sweet.
So what happened?
Well, so I mean, they went back and they were like, "All right, look, we need to this is Ubisoft talking. They're like, we need to go back and figure some stuff out."
Why they ended up delaying the game ultimately?
Yeah, they
right?
delayed the game.
Yeah.
I think it was a delay, and I think they just put more money into the game,
We
which
were
is
like-
smart. You know.
Weren't we weeks away from shooting?
Yeah, we almost flew out to.
You guys were ready to go.
Texas. Yeah, we almost flew out to Texas, and they're like, "Wait, don't fly out to Texas. Hold on, we need to figure some stuff out. Just give us like 2 weeks to figure some stuff out." And they came back and they were like,
they
"Yeah, like it's delayed, and we'll get back to you in 2014."
Oh, jeez.
And we got back to them, and they're like, "Yeah, it's not gonna be a thing because I guess they were putting more money into the game, which is smart. That's what I would do. You know, put money into your product.
Yeah.
So I understand, but it sucks though because that video is going to be sweet.
So give us.
But that's just one. Before we can move ahead, I mean, that's just one of several projects that have been officially backed by game companies that you've worked on, like Dead Island.
Yeah, Dead Island
like
and Sleeping Dogs was one.
Oh yeah, that one was fun. I got to work on that one with you. That was
awesome.
a blast,
dude.
Yeah.
I just remember being so impressed, like meeting you. Like, how old are you?
22.
Yeah, you must have been at the time you were 21, and you had already gotten like pretty nice budgets from official game companies to make these videos on
licensed.
Oh yeah,
branded content.
Oh no, it's impressive as all hell. I mean, you knew me at 22. I wasn't doing anything.
Nope. I can attest.
Yeah, you can attest.
Benji had no plan.
I had nope. I wanted to be a drifter. Remember?
You should hold on.
Dude,
This
that's
is the,
awesome.
This is the part.
That's great.
This is the part. We'll get back to you in a second, Clint.
Yeah,
but
let's
just
hear
a
this.
brief tangent. You should pitch your drifter plan while holding your driver's light, your Fat ID, up to the camera over there.
Okay.
So everyone can get an idea of.
This is the
You may
person I
remember
was.
what Games Dean looked like in season 1, and that was after
So-
some progress.
So I'm gonna show it to this camera for Alex. So while you're 20, at your age of 22, Clint, you're 22. You're getting branded deals. You've been hustling. You've made the decision like screw school. It's time to like make a living. Like I want to follow my dream. Like I donated plasma for a living. I would donate plasma 2 times a week to pay for my drinking on the weekend in school. Like that was what I did. This was I did this.
You have to hold that up to the camera there, John.
There you go, John. Get that up there. This was my face. This was how I lived.
That's not gonna work. Hold it up to the wide angle lens in the center there.
Just the face.
Look at
I don't
this.
think anyone wants my DLN.
Look at fat Benji.
Yeah, I spent more time doing that, but I came home from college and I seriously hadn't thought at all about what I wanted to do, or like the only thing that really like clicked with me is I enjoyed seeing new things. That was it.
That's awesome though.
That was it, and I was like, how do I do that with the money I have? Oh, I have no money. I'll just start drifting.
Benji convinced himself that drifting was a profession,
like
and he was
drifting
going to be very
cars?
successful.
No. Drifting is
No.
in like being a drifter, is in like just taking a backpack
As
and
in
just
being
like
a fucking hobo is what the rest of us
like I was
call
gonna
it.
hop on trains and just see new stuff and like go to national parks and stuff. And I remember one day I finally got the courage. I was like, because I'm living back home with mom and dad doing my internship to finish college. I'm like, I'm gonna tell them today. Like, I finally got it figured out. I was stoked. I was like, I know what I want to do. I'm going to do it. I'll start life afterwards. I'm going to go see some things. I remember, because my parents were always like, when are you going to get a real job? You got to start applying to jobs, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And finally one day I came home and I knew Dad was going to ask me again, and Mom's sitting at the table. And I'm like, guys, got to be honest. I think in a couple weeks I'm going to take off. They're like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to start drifting. I'm going to go, I'm just going to start traveling. They're like, how are you going to pay for it? I was like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. And my mom
You're like, I
and
got
Dad,
this plasma thing figured out.
I was like, I can figure out how to eat off plasma
Like,
alone.
I've got a
I was
whole
like-
body full
I was
of
like,
blood.
I was like,
I can keep selling blood.
BioLife is located in every county in the United States. It's like I could just
No, he's not joking. He looked up where this
Yeah.
blood donation company is and found that they had locations all across America
I
that
could
he
go
could
anywhere.
stop in and sell his plasma.
$50 a week is enough if you want to be a dollar millionaire, So like I seriously thought I was going to do that, and I told my mom and dad, and I remember like being so pumped to tell them, and like I was so excited, and I remember the look on their faces. Now I understand it. That day I did not understand how they could be so upset or so confused.
Yeah.
Today I get it. Oh God, today I get it. But like at that moment, like they just looked at me, and I remember my dad was like, you're gonna have to give me a couple minutes to talk to you, because right now that's probably the worst thing I've ever heard you say. My mom walked out of the house.
You still owe everyone an apology.
My
for that
mom
bullshit.
walked out of the house. She goes, I can't even look at you right
Oh
now.
my
She
gosh.
left the house. I was like, see what you did? See what you did, you idiot? Why don't you start thinking? And I remember calling Des and my brother Alex. I was like, guys, what's their big deal? What's the problem? They're like, you're an idiot. Like, they're like, yeah, it's not how it works. It's like, yeah, it's a good idea, but that's not how life works. You can't get away with that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you were doing all of that at 22, and I was working for you, hired me to work for you. One of the sleeping dogs,
I need help.
It's sweet, that's awesome. That's something to be proud. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty fantastic.
Thanks, Benji. Thank
I
you.
will say, if you had chosen to do that lifestyle, there is a big community of people that do that. I had a friend who directed a documentary about people who were living that life.
Because I've seen a couple
Just
little things
off
like that.
the grid, on the road.
Yeah, there are
kids
people who do that.
They have like a real upbringing, like with good families and everything, and they're just, you know what, screw all this. I'm just gonna go around the country, hop on trains. They have these people even have like a secret book that's passed around that has all of the train routes and like which times they leave the station and everything.
That's
so you know
awesome.
which ones to hop on.
It's like an underground railroad for homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like weird
upper
crawl
middle class
spaces
kids
in the trains that they would just hide in, you know, during the trips.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've seen footage of all this, and I mean, it looks, you know, these people, it's not glamorous. They have to eat out of the garbage a lot of the times and, you know, just like beg for change. But they get to see, you know, by hopping on these trains, they get to go through areas which are not like accessible to the public. And it's just some beautiful stuff. You know, there's kind of like a weirdly, you know, amazing way of living a kind of life without like, you know, adhering to society's rules. But it's really hard and it's really not sustainable.
Because everything costs money in life, you know. But I mean, like you said, there are like websites now, and I found them and I searched them up. Like, there's so many ways, like couchsurfing.com. Couchsurfing you can travel the world for free, like never have to pay for a room. If you like join up a site like
and each area,
it's people who do the same thing. They like to travel and stuff, but they open up their homes for other people that want to travel. So if you're in a spot that has one, you can just stop at their pad and just stay the night, as long as you do that when somebody else comes through your neck of the woods. And there's I can't remember what the website was, but there's like an organic farm system around the world that's hooked up to this website, and you can sign up and you go and and you sign up for a time period, and they'll let you live and eat for free. Room and board, as long as you just work their fields for them, whoever these people are, and they're set up all over the world.
That's so
and you
cool.
can pretty much travel the world doing this stuff. Obviously, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're going to see some
You're not
random
gonna
stuff.
make any money.
You're not going to make any money.
You're gonna live in that culture, though. You're gonna.
Yeah, you're going to do. I mean, is that something you want to do? Like, I thought I really wanted to try it at the time. I thought that's something I could do. I realized, you know, quite shortly
How do you think you would
afterwards,
have fared?
See, it's almost like when I wanted to join the military back in the day. I think my brain was a little too big, you know, than my stomach at the
You're
time.
a little ambitious.
Yeah, like you know how weird of an eater I am. Just the food alone would have ruined me. I
feel
wouldn't
like
have been able to eat.
You would have lasted.
Like, I'm the guy who pukes when I smell ketchup. Like, and I'm gonna go and like live a life where I don't have food and I have to scrape to eat. Like, like you can't be picky, you know, and be a drifter.
You would have. Benji would have lasted 4 hours until he was hungry for lunch, and he was like, "Okay, fellow hobos,
Where's the chicken
on this
strips?
train? Like, how do we get some money to go get some lunch?" And they're like, "No, you don't do that. We got like a sack of garbage here. We collected earlier. Eat this garbage." Yeah. He would have quit right then and there. It would have been over.
Yeah.
He would have been walking back home.
Hobo stew, which is like a collection of 5 different like kinds of stew in one.
Like leftover, like the
runoff.
sludge from the bottom of like Starbucks cups, and,
Exactly.
like sprinkled with ketchup packets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have went well. It wouldn't have went well. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
So, Clint and Benji, you're not hobos.
yeah.
No.
You're in LA. You're kicking ass. You're doing a really cool video right now, right? Tell us about the super top secret project you're working on.
Yeah. So the most recent one is a Wolfenstein video, short film, which is awesome.
And this is officially sanctioned.
Yes, officially through Bethesda, which I guess Wolfenstein used to be ID, who did like Doom and stuff, but I guess they either bought or transferred out to Bethesda.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. Like, I'm such a huge Bethesda fan and Wolfenstein fan.
That's great.
Like, it's such an honor to like do a Wolfenstein video.
And you just shot it.
Yeah, we just shot it last week, Wednesday and Thursday of last week. We shot, 2 days in an abandoned jail in downtown, and we had like rain and we had
Downtown
fog.
LA, there's an abandoned jail?
Yeah.
What? Where?
Yeah, there's it's next to like Chinatown. Yeah, it's next to Chinatown, kind of next to the Dodger Stadium.
Okay.
I think. It's like a 5-story jail with a basement. You can't shoot in the basement because it's haunted. No, I'm just kidding. It's
There are ghosts down there.
yeah. But you really can't shoot in the basement because of safety reasons. And then there's a roof, which is really cool too. It's an amazing location. They shot a bunch of crap there. I just don't know what, but everyone's like, "Oh, I've been on a shoot here. I've been on a shoot here," and like, they shot like some. I think the Lady Gaga telephone music video was shot there. And
I don't
like,
fucking know.
who knows, man.
The Lady Gaga.
Telephone.
You're
Telephone
right, no.
popped.
It was the Gaga video. Huge fan of
That's
telephone.
the one. That's the one. And some what's the machete? What's his name?
Danny Trejo.
Trejo.
They shot a Trejo video or movie there, and he actually spent time in that jail.
Before it was when it was a functional jail.
That's what I've heard.
No
that's what I
way.
heard.
Before
yeah.
he started his career as an actor, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And your post-production on that's coming out soon, right?
Yeah, it's coming out on May 8th. There's going to be a trailer the week before, so May 1st. And yeah, I'm just editing right now. There'll be an edit on the 11th, and then visual effects, sound design, color correction, all that good stuff.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You're fucking doing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be an intense month in like a week or so, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Good times.
And when you're done with that, we'll get you back on the shorts team.
Yeah.
We've been doing the weekly shorts
Oh yeah.
for a while now.
Yeah.
We're struggling without you.
You guys are back. You guys are doing weekly shorts. It's hard to do weekly shorts. It's a full-time job, you know?
And
Yes,
then
it
some.
is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I can't wait to come back. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we'll do some fun stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's good to work on shorts. Like work on quick stuff because then you get practice. You get quick practice.
Yeah.
You know?
Now that you've been out here longer and you've had the opportunity to do the longer stuff as well, do you still enjoy doing the shorts just as much? Do you enjoy doing longer stuff more when you get the chance, or do you like to keep it in the wheelhouse? You know,
I
doing the old
really
stuff
really
that got
like
you going.
Yeah, I really like doing longer form stuff.
Yeah.
Just spending more time on something because I just want to make something as good as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, putting as much detail into it as possible. And I just like being on set. I wish I was on set for a month.
Being on set's the best, isn't it?
It's so much fun. But doing shorts is great too because it's like, oh, I'll just do this quick little idea, you know, and bust it out. And that's where the training comes from, is the shorts. I remember Des, you told me, it was like, I told you I wanted to do a kung fu feature, which I still really want to do, but
That's
you're
right.
like, do like 100 shorts, do 100 kung fu shorts before you do a feature. And I was like, yeah, that made a lot of sense to me. You know, because you just practice. If you do a feature without practicing on any shorts, your feature's gonna be garbage. Your first feature's probably gonna be garbage anyway. You know,
Yeah, probably.
because it's your first feature. But get those shorts in because that's practice.
That's sweet. We didn't do that.
What?
We just went right into the feature.
That was a bad idea.
Yeah, we went straight. We didn't do any of the short practice. We just
Well, this
you
was-
just called me one day, and you're like, "I'm going to start writing one. We're going to make a movie this summer." I was like, "Okay."
Well, I'm a little older than you guys. I was still in that old indie film world. You know, it was
Yeah.
like,
Circuit.
there wasn't. I mean, there was YouTube at the time, but it wasn't like this viable thing, and there were some people doing it, but I wasn't really aware of it then. And
Yeah.
it was still very much you got to raise money and max out credit cards and make a feature. That's the only way people are going to notice you. You just make a movie and get it into festivals, and someone's going to buy it, and then you're going to be Kevin Smith next week. You know.
Yep.
But that shit's dead.
Yeah, people always cite like
That's
Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino, all these
Steven
90s,
Soderbergh.
90s icons, you know?
90s icons.
Yeah, we didn't realize that at
When's
the
the-
time.
When's
That was
the
a
last
yep.
time you heard of that happening?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's
We
very
did not
rare.
realize that at the time.
Now that everyone has like a 1080p video camera on their phone and, you know, everyone's got iMovie or whatever, like anyone can make a feature now. You know?
Yeah.
I did it in high school. You know?
I've been to Sundance. I was just at Sundance this year. I was there last year, I think, and the year before. And the coolest stuff coming out of Sundance, because if you're looking at the features, a lot of them are all like, they're pretty expensive, you know, and some of them are like little mini, like independent studio features, and they're backed by companies like, well, I don't know, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But they're not truly independent productions, not all of them. And the ones that are, they're not all that great. The coolest thing that you're going to find coming out of these festivals, like Fantastic Fest and Sundance and South by Southwest, are the shorts, you know? All these guys are doing really, really awesome shorts, but you don't need to take them to a festival. You just put them online.
Yeah, if they're good, they're gonna get views.
Yeah.
That's always kind of the thing.
Yeah.
If it's good, it'll work.
How do you feel about acting, Clint? Because you have some fans that probably know, but if anyone's listening to this who gives a shit and they like Video Game High School, might be surprised to find out that you are in fact Shotbot.
Yeah, the robot, the Pwn Zone Shotbot robot. Yeah,
Dude, how did that happen?
I was honestly, man, I had a small head, and I was the only one. Who
That was
fit
it, right? No, seriously. Really, that's it? No, I think we were trying to.
No, that's the only reason, man.
We tried the helmet on Jimmy, I think. Jimmy,
Yeah.
we were like, Jimmy, just, you're going to be there.
He's got a big head.
You're
man.
Freddie's brother. You're going to be on
Yeah,
set.
yeah.
Try on the helmet, and it wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
They're like, Clint, your head looks small.
Get over here. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then I put on the helmet, and it fit. And it's like, all right, you're Shotbot. I was like, oh, who's Shotbot? What? Okay, cool.
You're the Cinderella of web series robots.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only reason. It's because I have a small head.
Have you shot your Shotbot stuff
No, I shoot Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week.
of this week?
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
for
I'll be
season
there.
3.
I'll be
Awesome.
there with you.
Awesome, dude.
Thursday and Friday.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
That'll be
Good
fun.
stuff.
I can't wait, man.
Dude, I'm pumped. It's a blast this year. It's been a lot of fun. It's pretty crazy. I was just talking to Lewis downstairs. It's funny because we were at CSUN last week. And were you ever? You were at CSUN, right? The first season at all, or no?
Man, never.
Oh man, but like the first season, the crew was so small. We had like one truck, and there's maybe like 10 of us total. We rolled up to CSUN last week, and there was like 3 trailers, 4 trucks, 50 background. Wow. Crafty and food set up everywhere. We had like taken over 2 square blocks of the campus. It was like,
wouldn't
this
know
is sweet.
that it's a a free to view YouTube production.
Not at all. When I was walking up, I was like, this is a major production going on. Like,
Yeah.
you would never have believed that that was just something that's just going to go out for everyone for free. Like, it was really I was like really proud. It was almost like a tear to your eye type thing. Like, I was just like, because I remember you telling me, like, Benji, you got to get out here. At this time, you're going to miss it. I can't explain what it is, but I think something cool's about to happen.
It was when we were gearing up for VGHS. I was telling Benji, I think.
Yeah, he like couldn't explain.
I was like, I can't get you a part, but I can guarantee you an audition.
Yeah.
And you need to come out here like now.
Yeah.
You're going to miss the auditions if you don't come out.
Yeah, you're like, if you don't move out in the next 2 weeks, like, you're just going to, I can't tell you what it is or exactly how it's going to work, but like, I just have a feeling that this is going to be something really cool. And like, when we were at CSUN last week and I got to see how big it was, and like see where it's come, it was like, whoa, like
dude.
This is amazing.
3 years
it was like
ago.
a really proud moment. It was really cool.
We didn't know. We were like, let's make a movie and put it on the internet for free.
Yeah.
But we don't know how. We don't know where we're going to get the money. We don't know what it's going to be about.
It's so cool, man.
It's nuts. It's like 3.5 years
and it
later.
Was
it's huge.
and it wasn't like it was just big either. Like, everything was a well-oiled machine too. Like, you walk up, everyone's doing something. Every moving part is moving. Things are getting done. There's no time being wasted. No one's angry at each other. Everything's calm and collected. Everybody knew what they had to do. Like, it was just like, we're a monster, man. I was really proud to be there. Like, every day I've been on set this season is just really cool. Like, everybody's a bunch of hammers, man. It's been really fun. I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
so
you'll have a good
I'm pumped
time.
for you to get there, man. You're gonna dig it.
John, you were out there.
Yeah, you got to come out.
Yeah, season 2, I was there every day.
Yeah, you were working,
PA, right?
Yep.
That was when you first
Camera
moved out
PA.
here, basically.
Yeah.
That's fun
That was
stuff.
like my first big gig out here.
Yeah.
That was intense.
That was hard, right?
Yeah.
Season 2 was tough.
Especially when we had to do the big action stuff on location.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you're out of, you can't even like use the radios because you're so far away.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
We
like,
had
if you
split
forget-
units,
yeah.
and the
Oh,
radios
yeah.
were supposed to radio to each other. We were in an area where the radios didn't
Yeah.
work.
There are huge explosions and cars drifting around mountain freeways. Yeah, that was insane.
Dude, you have to drive for like 10, 15 minutes just to get to the base camp.
We're running all over, attaching GoPros to everything.
Yeah.
Just sticking GoPros on stuff.
Yeah.
Just seeing what kind of shots you can get.
Yeah.
A complete pandemonium.
It has. It's been really cool. It really is just like from year to year. It's just everyone, all you guys, just trying to have fun and seeing what you can get away with and how you can push it the next. And that's what's like, seriously, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Each day you went out to do something, you all were not content with just doing what you're doing. You're like, I think we can try this. I think we should try. That would be cool. How do we do that? I don't know, but let's fucking try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's the attitude, and like that led to like, you know, I showed up and it was just so cool, and like it's so big this year, and like we come in and Raul's showing videos of the huge stunt they did last night and stuff. We're doing things like, it's just so cool.
Have
man.
you,
It's just really impressive?
Have you spoken to that teacher recently that told you to move out here?
Oh, Mr. Mason? No.
Mr. Mason?
You got to get in touch with Mr. Mason.
You got to thank Mr. Mason, man.
Yeah.
What are you
man,
waiting
you're
for?
right.
You got to hit him up and see if he knows what you're up to. I bet he'd really dig that.
You're right, man.
Dude,
What do your
shit.
parents think? Like, because it went from, Clint, you're crazy, you need a degree, to, Dad, this is going to happen, I'm dropping out. Okay, son.
No, my parents love it. They're like, well, sometimes my dad helps me write. Like recently, we've been writing together, which is really cool. And my mom's always like checking up on me, like, "How you doing? Like, are you eating healthy and all this and that?" And
Yeah.
my mom's a health nut, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. They love it though. They miss me a lot, and it's really good to go back for Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's
Christmas
always-
is the best. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Oh man, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What do your parents think about what's going on, John?
I think it's sweet. But it's like,
It's a tough thing to explain to your folks.
well, all of these opportunities that I've had out here working with you guys, it's not because of a resume. It's because of my YouTube channel, which is something I started back in high school before I even went to college.
Yeah.
And when I was in college, I was kind of starting to get the sense that I didn't really need it, and that, you know, by going on tutorials online or just
exactly.
or just getting out there and just shooting something and figuring it out on your own,
Yeah.
that was more useful than just sitting in a class, you know, listening to someone who, I mean, like, there were a lot of good teachers that I had I went to Columbia College in Chicago. A lot of good teachers, but, you know, I mean, some of them were just kind of like, I was just kind of rolling my eyes and being like, okay, this is
that old adage, those who cannot do teach.
Yeah, it's a pretty mean phrase to throw out, but I mean, I definitely had a similar moment with a teacher who was like, okay, like, you're obviously a little ahead of the game, because I'd already made like, you know, dozens of internet shorts, you know, before I even went to, you know, college. So I definitely got the sense that it wasn't entirely necessary. So, and I think you're an example of how it isn't, you know, and how you just made this nicely budgeted Wolfenstein video, and you don't even like have a degree, you know. It's really not necessary anymore. You just got, now that the technology is so accessible.
Yeah, at least for art. You know, if you're drawing or playing music or making movies, your resume is your work. But if you're going to be a doctor, you know, like that, get a degree, you know?
Yeah.
It's
well, I don't want any unlicensed Wikipedia practitioners taking me through surgery.
Yeah.
But nobody, when we work on all these videos, nobody checks the resume.
No, it's
Maybe
never.
we're probably a little spoiled with the position we're in, but when's the last time anyone's asked for a resume out here?
I think if you're in a specialized field, you know, like cinematography or editing, something that's like a true skill that you can't just acquire on your own. You know, I think, you know, formal education is probably for the best. But if you're just trying to be a director, you know, like there's no class you can take to make yourself a great director. A director, you know, just takes pieces of every field and then applies it to kind of one overall, you know, approach.
Yeah.
I would say you still want to be a well-learned individual, though.
Yeah, but that's all about curiosity, not about just paying someone to
tell you which books to read.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you got to be a director or a writer, you have to be an interesting person.
You have to do your research, and that's just not in the art form itself, but everything outside that. You have to understand humanity, basically, to be a good filmmaker.
Yeah.
That's one of the other things I noticed paying attention to you guys. I never really picked up on it until I spend more time on set, and like especially just like directing or holding onto a short. You only think about the artistic side of it when you think about a director. Like, you know, they're only thinking about the shot or how we're going to play the scene out. But the director has to be in tune with every single thing that's happening on set at all times, at the drop of a hat. When like somebody has a question for something, like you guys, like if you're directing a short or a major, you know, shoot, you have to answer that question with what needs, like you have to make a decision, give an answer, and then get back to what you're doing in the moment. And like if there's a split second where like an actor needs something, or you know, you got to give them, like you have to then turn that part of your brain off, turn this part on. Like that's a really, and I don't know how much of that can be taught in school, but I think a lot of that is like in, like you guys are just like a certain breed that's born, you know, like I don't know if that's something that can be trained or that's something you just learn that you have in you over time.
Well, you have to have that leadership quality. But yeah, that's just an experience, you know? You guys know that. It's just from us making those shorts every week.
The more you do it, the better you get. The more experience, the more confident you are when you're doing it. And then the bigger productions you work on, you just bigger. Put yourself outside of your comfort zone, because that way you're learning more.
Right.
You know, and then like let's say you're running 100 people for a crew, right? Then you go back to 50 crew, and you're like, oh man, this is not as bad as 100. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know? I guess that might be a way of putting it, but yeah.
What were we going to say, John?
I was just going to recount this story that Paul Thomas Anderson tells. Like, he was in NYU film school, and he was, I think within a few days, he dropped out. And the reason he dropped out is because he was in like a screenwriting class, and he started to get a sense that this really was not necessary, and that the teacher, as smart as he or she was not what he needed to be a great screenwriter. So for this assignment, he had to write like 3 pages, a 3-page script. And so he just stole a scene from a David Mamet play or film, and then just turned that in, and the teacher gave him a C. So he knew at that point that like
these guys don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, you just got to figure this out for yourself.
Yeah.
And so he dropped out, and there's just so many examples of just great filmmakers who didn't needs school, you know, like Quentin Tarantino was working in a freaking video store.
Yeah. There's also a list of great filmmakers who have gone through.
Oh,
this.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's just not like necessary. It's definitely helpful and has produced a lot of great people, but it's not the end all, you know, way to become a filmmaker anymore.
It is like it's the question, right? It's the $10,000 question.
Yeah.
If you want to be a filmmaker, it's do I need to go to film school or not? The answer is if you're gonna, it's up to you, really.
Yeah.
I mean, don't
It's
get me
not
wrong.
necessary.
I went to 4 years of film school. I mean, I had a great time, learned a lot, you know, but a lot of that was just running off and doing stuff on my own, not being in some amazing class with the most mind-blowing teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you know, it's Columbia College, Chicago. It's not USC or NYU, you know.
Yeah.
Like, Des, you hearing you talk about USC, it sounded like it was absolutely incredible.
It was. I mean, it wasn't without its problems, but I appreciate the time I was there. You know,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I feel like it's good for contacts and networking, right?
That was the biggest thing. Absolutely, that was the biggest thing. If you get into a school like that, especially USC, where you're already in Hollywood, basically. Not literally. It's in South Central Los Angeles, but you're in like the filmmaking capital of the world, and all the teachers there were, you know, the guy who wrote Taxi Driver is teaching my screenwriting class. You know, the guy who wrote 10,000 critical analyses on film books is teaching. It's showing us movies and teaching us how to analyze them. You know,
That's crazy.
Like the guy who produced Speed is teaching the producing class.
That's
I know
so
Speed's
cool.
a great movie, but I'm just
love
throwing
that
out
movie.
examples.
Speed
It's like
rules.
I love
Speed
that movie.
rules.
Come on.
You know, it's Robert Zemeckis was there teaching the 3D motion capture class. You know,
Who
like
graduated from USC? Like, didn't Lucas?
famous guys?
Who?
George, like the big three: George Lucas, Ron Howard, and Robert Zemeckis. Were sort of like the golden era film school age
Yeah.
kids.
Mm.
And there's been, I mean,
Yeah,
the
tons.
list. If you look up the list of like working directors who came out of USC, it's pretty ridiculous. John Carpenter, my favorite,
Oh man.
one of my favorite directors, came out of USC.
Yeah.
And like NYU, you know, Scorsese and the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Oh really?
like
Okay.
that. So like, you know, those at least the top two. That
Yeah.
definitely-
Yeah.
Yeah.
They produce
They went to film
results.
school.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I'm gonna close out on. We're gonna shift focus entirely for the last 5 minutes of this podcast.
Cool.
I want to talk about the Raid 2 real quick.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
You guys saw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
John,
still
you
haven't
saw it?
watched it yet, so I need you to pitch it for me.
I haven't seen it either, but I'm gonna review it as if I saw it, or as if I didn't see it. I'm gonna talk about it,
Dude.
even though I haven't seen it.
It was so good, man. It was so violent. It was so violent. John, what
Is
do you
that
what do you- what
it?
do you
It's just
think?
violence.
It's so dude, it is so violent.
Just
but
2 hours of raw
everything
violence.
certainly seemed in service of the violence, you know. And the only time there wasn't violence was, you know, just to give you a break because what you just saw was the most brutal thing imaginable, and then they top it in the next scene.
Yeah. The like I don't know if you guys ever played Borderlands, but the first Borderlands was amazing. The second Borderlands was amazing and better in every single way, just like the Raid. First Raid was great, you know, I loved it, but the second Raid was better in every single way. Every single aspect. Like the shots were amazing, the fight scenes were amazing, like the acting was so much better, the story was much better, the locations were better.
But the only thing a problem I had with it was, you know, it's called the Raid. Like the first one was a raid. Like the second one, it's like trying to be, you know, an Indonesian Godfather or something with, you know,
0 raids whatsoever.
There were a couple raids.
A couple of raids.
There were a couple raids.
So there were 2 raids in the Raid 2. Where are you going with this, John?
it just it definitely seemed like it was trying to be this epic, amazing film on top of just delivering great action scenes.
Right.
And, you know, the stuff worked. Like, to its credit, it worked. But really, the only reason you see that movie is for the violence. And it's so unbelievably extreme that I think it's going to alienate a lot of people. Like,
It can't. Yeah, it could.
like it's
It sounds like it did, because some of my pals have already been saying that fuck that movie is disgusting.
yeah.
it's pretty rough, man.
You definitely have to have some sort of fetishistic, you know, feelings towards violence if you're going to enjoy this movie. And I saw it with a pre-screening, so guys like who would like wait
Not a
for
date
hours.
flick.
Certainly not. I mean, unless your girlfriend's into some weird stuff. I mean, it's definitely going. Your jaw will be dropped. You will see parts of the human anatomy you never saw before in a film.
Oh man,
sold me.
Yeah, it's
good. It's really freaking good, man.
I'd see it again.
Yeah. Oh
I had a
yeah. I
good
can't
time.
wait. I can't wait.
And the crowd I saw it with,
Yeah, they were into it.
Like, they were losing their mind.
You saw it at the Cine Family. And
Yeah, at a pre-screening, so guys were like waiting for hours to get in. Like these were true fans of the original, and they loved it. So if you love the original, you'll probably like this one.
No, guaranteed you will like it a lot more than the first one. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
That's awesome. We're gonna have to check that out. John and I saw Noah this weekend, the other big release this weekend.
I still don't even know what to think of that. It was one of the most. It was like it's like the most.
Slack.
Just out of the loop over there.
So out.
It's the most glorious and amazing train wreck of a movie I've ever seen. I was in awe. I was never bored for 1 second. But I mean, Des, you and I saw it together.
Yeah.
And literally every other minute, we're looking at each other like,
giggling.
This can't be a giggling.
We
This
were
can't be
chortling
real.
and giggling the entire time, nudging each other like, oh my God, can you believe that?
Yeah, people in the theater were kind of like groaning a lot.
People are
like,
scoffing and groaning and walking out in droves.
Yeah.
John and I were smacking, just like clapping like this is insane.
Yeah. And surprisingly, berries were heavily featured.
Hey, you guys talked a lot about these berries.
A lot of berries.
Like,
a lot of berries.
Like
in
fruit? Like
yes.
berries?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
like,
a big plot.
Like poisonous berries?
No, very healthy.
delicious berries.
Delicious berries, rock creatures, rainbows, vengeful gods.
Yeah, it's referenced all throughout the film, and then right as the big flood hits, they have this like epic berry moment right before one of the big characters dies. He's like, "Yes, I finally found my berries," and then it's just like it's so bizarre. I can't believe
Russell Crowe goes full fucking madman. In this movie.
Yes.
By the way,
makes me want to see it.
He's completely unhinged. This man who's spoken to God, or at least he thinks he has.
Yeah.
Because no one else in the movie that is, I'm not contesting whether or not this story is true, but in the movie, he gets to talk to God. You don't hear God. He just has these visions. They could be hallucinations. They could be dreams.
Yeah.
He could be imagining all of this, but he just says, I spoke to God, and he's going to kill everyone. We're going to do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's completely insane.
Yeah, it's not about.
I gotta see it.
It's like this take of Noah. It's not about I need to make sure the animals are safe. It's like I need to make sure everyone in humanity dies for sure.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to help God cleanse the earth.
Yeah.
By killing all that is vile.
So that's the moral?
Including mankind.
Yeah. It's not a love thy neighbor take on Noah. That's for sure.
It's the Old Testament vengeful God. You've ruined my creation, and you will all be punished for it. And Noah is his right-hand man.
Yes.
It's absolutely awesome. No, you know what? You're weird. The rock creatures though are really rad. Fans of like stop motion. Ray Harryhausen, you were right when you were talking to me about the effects. I've never seen anything like that. And I was reading an article the other day. ILM said they were absolutely terrified, and all their original tests were thrown out because it just didn't look right.
But it worked.
You've never seen anything like it before.
I gotta check it out.
I couldn't believe they didn't show any rock creatures in the trailer. Those things are like throughout the entire.
They're a main character in the film. They're fallen angels from they don't say where, you know, but like heaven or wherever it is where God comes from. These angels come down to earth to help Adam and Eve, and turn into they're punished for coming to earth, and they are turned into these horrible magma rock creatures
that resent humanity.
And they kind of and since they had wings when they flew down, now they have like 6 arms and legs, so they kind of walk around like spiders.
Whoa.
It's really rad.
That sounds sick.
It's some of the coolest. It was like watching. It was like Lord of the Rings meets Passion of the Christ meets
Aguirre the Wrath of God.
Aguirre the Wrath. Yeah, it was. I've never seen anything like it before.
Whoa.
And by far the most amazing part of the movie is this montage in which they show creation. But they managed to fuse the traditional creation myth with
evolution.
Evolution. And it's breathtaking because it just feels like this is such a singular perspective and not just some like, gotta stay true to, the Bible or whatever. It's like, no, like this is Darren Aronofsky's Noah story and no one else. It's pretty spectacular.
Wait, what else did he direct? Is he the guy who did
Requiem for a Dream
and what's the one with
The Fountain.
Black Swan.
Yeah, Black Swan. is-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Wrestler.
The Wrestler, great underrated movie.
Oh, awesome movie. Love the wrestler.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. Yes. Again, there's a lot of eye rolling worthy stuff.
Yeah.
In the movie, like it didn't all work for me, but the sheer audacity and insanity of it, and mixed with a huge budget, like, and it opened at number 1. Like I think it's remarkable that this movie even exists. So I'd say everyone should see it.
You sold me. I'm going.
Maybe
to see
one
both.
day we'll all make $200 million biblical rock creature epics.
Dude, that'd be sweet.
You know, just one YouTube video at a time.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
That's how you get there.
You got any advice or anything, Clint? I'm sure you got a fan or two out there who's like, oh man, you know, like when you asked Freddie, like, hey dude, like how do I do this thing? What should I do?
I mean, really, it's just what Freddie said was like, just keep going. Like, don't worry about equipment. Don't get stuck with equipment, you know, and like, oh, I have to get the best thing. I have to get this and that. It's like, just go, just practice. Nike, man, just do it. Just get out there.
Yeah,
that's what I'd say.
That's sweet.
Practice
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, like
at the very least, you need a pencil and a pad of paper.
yeah. Oh,
Just to write down ideas, you know. Just start exercising that creative muscle.
Yeah, keep a notebook. Don't let any good ideas be forgotten. And I heard a really cool quote, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like when Lauren showed it to me, and it said, when you first start out, it's called the gap. There's gonna be like 4 years or whatever. It varies depending on the person, like where your stuff is just gonna be bad and it's gonna suck. And like you got into like what you're doing because of your good taste, and you know that you want to create stuff with good taste, but you just can't do it yet because you're not good enough yet. So
you gotta get through you gotta purge all the shitty ideas.
Yeah, and just keep going and keep practicing and keep making stuff, because it's gonna be bad. Guaranteed, it's gonna be bad, and you're gonna be excited about it. And you're gonna show your friends, and they're not gonna tell you it's bad. It's just gonna suck. It's gonna be bad, and eventually it'll be good. You know?
Yeah, you can't be afraid of failure and hard work. Like even at the top film schools like NYU and USC, I hear that 50% of attendees drop out by the end of their second year.
I believe that.
Because they just don't. They go into it with this idea. It's like, yeah, it'd be cool to be a filmmaker. They don't realize how much hard work and practice goes into it before you're even like close to being good.
It's a calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. You have to give your whole life over to it. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for being on the podcast.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
We've
let's
been
get
talking
back
about
to work,
doing
huh?
this for
About time.
what, 3 years?
Yeah. Thanks again, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, dude, anytime.
Super fun.
Yeah, you can be a regular.
Awesome.
We'll have you on. You can
dude.
hang out and we'll talk about
pull you
sweet
in.
action movies.
Put me in.
Next time we'll talk about our favorite car chases. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Yeah. Nice.
We got a whole list ready.
We could spend a whole podcast
pick
on
one.
that.
Ready? Everyone pick one. And
Road
go.
Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
Man, The Matrix. The
Matrix-
second
Matrix
man.
2?
So freaking good.
Yeah. I was going to say Matrix 2.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I'll pick a different one. I'm going to say Bad Boys 2.
Ooh.
Bad Boys 2
One
Highway
with the
Chase. Yeah. The boat and the car carrier truck
Yeah.
where they're flipping cars off the top. That was
haven't seen it
that
yet,
was my
dude.
favorite for a while.
I'm gonna go Terminator 2.
Ooh.
I love the LA River chase. It's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
man.
That's
I
excellent.
think
Very
that's
good choice.
amazing.
Good
It's so
classic.
amazing.
I love that.
Classic car
Nothing
chase.
too crazy. It's just great. It's
Yeah.
just great.
Suspenseful
Yeah,
as
man.
all
You're
hell.
just scared to death.
When that truck comes off the bridge.
Yep, dude.
Boom. It's
How
so
music is
good.
great.
How about the Arnie shotgun reload?
dude.
with
Oh, yeah,
the
one-handed
cannon?
reload?
Come on
Unbelievable.
now.
Gets
Still
the
gets
tire.
me excited.
It's great. We
to
got to film a couple days ago. We were night shoot and we were down in the LA River like that. And that's all I could think about.
I was just telling someone my favorite movies the other day, and Terminator 2. I was telling it wasn't with you because I had this conversation with you the other night, and Terminator 2 crept up into my list, which it always does. But I was having this conversation with someone else, and Terminator 2 crept up into my top 10, and they're like, "Oh, come on,
No, it's
really?
up- it's up there.
Terminator
Dude,
2
that's such
of
a-
all the movies?" I'm like,
No,
yes,
dude.
of all the fucking movies, Terminator 2 is in my top 10.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
fucking
It's
agree
so
with it.
good.
It's my fucking top 10.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 is a badass movie, and I'm putting it in there.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
It's
movie
so
rules.
good.
So
How can someone say that though? Like Terminator 2 is amazing. What?
Yeah, we all have our likes and dislikes, I guess.
That's true. That's what
That
makes
poor
us
guy.
us. So
Yeah, well, let's wrap up the podcast. Clint,
Cool.
dude, thanks again for coming down.
yeah, thanks for
We'll do
having
this
me.
again
Your
real
Twitter
soon.
is
Oh, my Twitter is _Pwnisher
Boom.
_ So there are 2 underscores because someone took Pwnisher, and I've tried to tweet at them to get Pwnisher,
back.
but
And they refuse.
they didn't even hit me back.
Pwnisher, come on, Pwnisher. I know you're out there.
Please.
Like, you
Let's
Googled
get it
yourself, and you stumbled upon this podcast. We were recording this in 2014. This is probably like 2016 now that you finally Googled and found this, but Clint still wants his Twitter handle back. So so break it off, son.
Hand it over.
You got to break it off.
And
John, you can plug yours again. Why not, dude?
Do it.
At Ruby Dog Movies.
Boom.
Or just go to youtube.com/RubyDog189.
For murder.
For murder.
Oh, come on. It's not
it's a
just
murder
that.
code.
Because you're killing that comedy, son.
Killing it. Killing it.
I thought you were like,
I'll take that.
I thought you were like,
All right.
I thought because we do murder a lot of people in our videos, but it's not all murder videos. Sometimes there's a little, having sex with a dead dog or
Which was murdered, presumably.
Well, no, the dog was already dead in the story. It wasn't like he
there we
killed
go.
it. I mean, he's just having a little fun. That's all.
Dude, now we're talking. Benj, what are you?
I got an underscore game too.
Oh,
Benji,
you guys with the underscores.
Benji_Dolly. Easy enough.
Well, I'm at Des Dolly. Thanks for coming by the podcast, Clint. Again, it was a good time. John, thanks for helping out with co-hosting duties today.
No problem.
Yeah, dude.
Anytime.
We're going to go get back to work. We're going to go
Yep.
get back to shooting VGHS, plan some more podcasts, and we got some shorts to crank out this week. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes. Over and out.